The Princess Bride is a fairy tale romance comedy adventure directed by Rob Reiner. It includes all the classic fairy tale elements: a princess in peril, played by Robin Wright, an evil ruler who intends to wed her, played by Chris Sarandon, and the brave hero that attempts to rescue her and save the day, played by Cary Elwes. Along the way, many supporting allies and opposing foes are encountered, most notably Vizzini, Fezzik, Inigo, and Count Rugen, played by Wallace Shawn, Andre the Giant, Mandy Patinkin, and Christopher Guest. Billy Crystal also has a small part in the movie as the elderly Miracle Max. The main story is framed inside the world of a book, which is read by a grandfather to his sick grandson. Peter Falk plays the role of the grandfather, and Fred Savage plays the part of the grandson. Now that I've made it through the large list of cast and characters, let's get into the reasons why you should rent a copy of The Princess Bride. To start things off, The Princess Bride is a widely popular cult classic. If you haven't seen the movie and someone who has seen it finds out, you better expect some scrutiny. I think some of the popularity may be due to the nostalgia many have from growing up with the film, so don't let your friends overhype you on it. This happened to me when I first watched it, and it gave me a little too high of expectations. The more times I've seen it, however, the more I consider it a classic worth watching over and over again. Filming was done in England and Ireland, so the locations feel very genuine to the Renaissance-era world in which the story takes place. Throughout the film, the characters travel to many exotic locations, such as the Cliffs of Insanity and the Fire Swamp. It is a bit disappointing that they only encounter a couple of storybook-like creatures during their travels, but when they do, the creature special effects are pretty decent. However, don't expect to see dragons fighting centaurs or anything like that when you watch this movie. We do get to see sword fights, treacherous environments, and even possibly a bit of magic, which makes up for the lack of fantasy creatures. While the movie is like a storybook, it is also packed full of comedy suitable for all ages. It takes itself seriously when it needs to, but when it doesn't, it lets loose with the jokes. Each character has their own unique personality and way of adding to the humor of the movie. This leads to villains you want to hate, but still find funny due to their quirks, and heroes you may be unsure of when they're first introduced, but you grow to love as the story progresses. One character in particular, Fezzik, played by Andre the Giant, is virtually impossible to dislike. He is very positive-minded, kind-hearted, and has an innocent nature despite the fact that he's a towering giant. My one complaint about the jokes in the movie would be some of the lines are a bit hard to hear. In many cases, Fezzik's natural French accent adds to the lack of joke clarity, but at the same time adds even more to his character's charm. As I said earlier, the film is framed within the world of a book. Peter Falk and Fred Savage do have some really great lines during their scenes, but in all honesty, the movie probably didn't gain a whole lot from adding this framing element, other than emphasizing even more so that it's a fairy tale-like story being told. And in case you're wondering, The Princess Bride is a real book, and it came out about a decade and a half before the film was made. But why read the book when you can just rent the movie? Much more can be said about The Princess Bride, but in all honesty, you just need to see the movie for yourself. If you're a fan of action, fantasy, comedy, or romance, then chances are you'll enjoy the movie. The idea of someone not enjoying it is just inconceivable.